Casino Resort Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shildt's postgame comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
We are live inside our San Diego studios. Final score on this Saturday as the Padres snap a 4-game losing skid at the Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. Hey, player, when it comes to giving you what you want, Jamul Casino Resort isn't playing around. It's way more than a place to game. It's a place where you can stay and play in every possible way. Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network, 97.3 The Fan headquarters. Padres get a really nice, a much-needed win. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. We'll also have all the radio highlights, a full game recap for you in a little while as well. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, your phone calls, and more. But this was, in my mind, and not just in my mind, but I think in reality, too, really a carbon copy, nearly identical to Monday's win in Miami. So similar, where the Padres had a 2-1 lead, Randy Vasquez on the mound. Mike Shildt comes out in the 5th inning, goes and gets Randy, goes to Adrian Morejon, and the Padres bullpen, the Big Four, the fearsome foursome, or as Mike Shildt likes to call them, the Four Horsemen, they get the job done. That's what they did on Monday. Those 4 guys, Adrian Morejon, Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam, and Robert Suarez on Monday in Miami. Last time the Padres won a game, they got 14 outs, didn't allow a run, secured a 2-1 win. They came in, it was a 2-1 score. They finished the game, it was still 2-1. They got 14 outs. Well, today, they got 13 outs, those 4 combined. It was a 2-1 score when they came in. The Padres, a little bit different this time, tacked on an insurance run in the top of the 9th inning, and the Padres win it 3-1. But the headline from this game, no doubt, is those 4 high-leverage relievers delivering yet again. Where would the 2025 San Diego Padres be without Adrian Morejon, Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam, and Robert Suarez? Where would they be? I made the joke on Monday. I'll make it again here. Those guys should not pay for another meal when their teammates are around the rest of this season. I don't care what else happens this season. That's how good they've been. That's how important they've been to this team. They have been remarkable, and this was another game where the Padres offense, look, let's be honest about it, they scored enough today. It's not like the Padres offense knocked their socks off with what they did, but they scored enough, and it was another game with Randy Vasquez on the mound where Mike Shildt had the luxury of being very aggressive with his bullpen, went to Morejon in the 5th inning, and looked at those 4 guys and said, go get it, and that's exactly what they did. So those 4 continue to be outstanding. This was really, really similar to Monday's game in Miami. And it is, as we've talked about before, it is, despite some of the offensive troubles the Padres have had, despite some of the troubles they've had with the bottom part of the lineup, the bench, all these things that we've talked about consistently over the course of the last couple of months and the last few days as this 4-game losing streak materialized for this Padres team. It snapped with this win today. One of the very, very unique and important advantages the Padres have over, I would say, every other team in baseball is they have these 4 guys. I mean, they've got a back end of the bullpen that when they have a lead is as good collectively as anybody. There is no team that wants to see the Padres with a lead when they've got those 4 guys available. They've all been so good. 3 of them all-stars. One of them probably should have been an all-star in Jeremiah Estrada. That is a unique advantage. And when they can deploy those guys in succession, I mean, good luck. I mean, they've been that good. So again, those 4 guys, 13 outs today, 4 innings and a third, didn't give up a run. Same thing they did in Miami, and the Padres win it 3-1. You can't say enough about what those guys continue to do. Randy Vasquez was pretty solid in his 4 innings and 2/3 in this game. We'll get more into him. Obviously, we had, a little bit of extracurricular activities with the bench is emptying and Contreras getting hit, Manny getting hit. We'll get into it. I think it's not all that dramatic, to be honest with you, on the benches clearing scale. Like if I'm comparing it to the Dodgers Padres earlier this year, I don't really think it's quite on that level. And quite frankly, if Wilson Contreras doesn't react the way he did to the initial hit by pitch from Pivetta yesterday, I don't think we end up here. And but you know, a good point made on the broadcast, which was, hey, they play tomorrow and they play 3 more times next weekend. So, hey, you never know. Benches have now cleared. You had Manny getting upset. So you never know how this might carry over. But it did give us a little bit of extra entertainment in this 3-1 win for the Padres today. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have the full game recap, all the radio highlights. We'll go back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Hear from Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well. Final score, the Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1. Padres will now try to split this 4-game series tomorrow. They snap a 4-game skid. Our post-game coverage continues after this.
Imagine having
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. The Padres beat the St. Louis Cardinals 3-1 on this Saturday evening. Padres snap a 4-game losing skid. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. I'm sure a lot to hear from Mike about this game, not only the game, but the benches clearing and all the extracurricular activities we had in this one. But most importantly, Padres find a way to win it, and they needed this one, and they do pick up a 3-1 win. Again, we'll hear from Mike Shildt. We may have some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse coming your way as well. But first, let's recap how this one went down in the Lou.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Our starting pitching matchup today, Randy Vasquez against Matthew Liberatore. A couple of young pitchers going at it. Both guys threw a scoreless opening frame. In the top of the second, Jake Cronenworth was hit by a pitch. He was still on first base, 2 men away for Bryce Johnson.
3-2, hard hit on a line up the middle into center field, and a base hit for Johnson. Cronenworth going to go first to third. Now Scott loses the ball. Jake going to try and score. There will not be a relay to the plate, and a Cardinal error has opened the doors. Padres take a 1-0 lead in the second.
But the Cardinals would answer in the bottom half of the inning. Nolan Arenado battled Vasquez to draw a 10-pitch walk. He was still on first base, 2 outs for Jordan Walker.
2-0 pitch is a rocket to center field. Merrill straight back and reaches up, can't make the catch. It's over his head, bounces against the wall. Arenado being waved at third as the throw comes to Iglesias. Relay to the plate, not in time. RBI double Jordan Walker, and a 1-1 game here in the second.
We were still tied at 1, going top 4. Jake Cronenworth started the inning with a leadoff double. He went to third base on a ground out. Bryce Johnson was next.
To the way in, Johnson bunts towards first. Contreras charges, bare hand, throw to first. The throw home, the tag not in time. Cronenworth slides in feet first ahead of the tag from the catcher Pages. Pretty good effort by Contreras, but too much speed. Johnson is aboard, and the Padres back in front. It's 2-1.
Vasquez pitched into the bottom half of the 5th inning with the Padres ahead 2-1. He got the first 2 outs, but then for a second straight Vasquez outing, Mike Shildt got aggressive with the bullpen. He brought in Adrian Morahone. Morahone finished the 5th inning. Morahone then got the first 2 outs of the 6th inning with the Padres still ahead 2-1. After a 2-out single, Shildt went to Jeremiah Estrada to face Wilson Contreras. Estrada struck him out. Estrada allowed a base runner in the bottom of the 7th inning, but he tossed the scoreless frame. Padres still led just 2-1 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jason Adam allowed a 1-out walk, but he got a huge double play ball to get out of that inning. We went top 9. Padres still leading just 2-1. Bryce Johnson started the inning with a leadoff double. A sac bunt got Johnson to third base. Fernando Tatis Jr. brought Johnson home with a ground out that Mason Winn at shortstop couldn't field cleanly with the infield drawn in. That was a big insurance run. It gave the Padres a 3-1 lead. So Robert Suarez came in for the bottom half of the 9th inning. Padres leading by 2. He struck out Alec Burleson. He hit Wilson Contreras with a pitch. And again, we'll get into in our next segment the extracurriculars and all the things that went on with the hit by pitches of Contreras and Manny tonight. But in the context of the baseball, Contreras hit by a pitch. Suarez then, with Nolan Arenado representing the tying run at the plate in the bottom half of the 9th inning, got a fly out from Arenado. The game was left up to the Cardinals shortstop, Mason Winn.
Running the 2-2 pitch, grounded to shortstop. Charged by Bogarts. Little flip to second is just in time, and the game is over. Contreras went in hard. He might have spiked Iglesias. Jose doesn't say a word to him. Contreras trots back to the dugout, and the Padres have defeated the Cardinals 3-1 on quite a night in St. Louis.
Yeah, quite a night in St. Louis indeed. Padres snap a 4-game skid, and they take the 3rd game of this 4-game series. Final totals in this one for the Padres: 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 10. For the Cardinals, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error. They left on 5. Padres improved to 56-49. Cardinals dropped to 54-52 on the season. Padres do a great job out of their bullpen once again. The 4 horsemen of Morahone, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez combining for 13 outs. They did not allow a run. Pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw Monday in Miami when Randy Vasquez had the early hook again. Mike Shildt went to his big 4 guys out of that bullpen. They got 14 outs on Monday, didn't allow a run, kept the score at 2-1. Padres win. Well, today it was also 2-1. Only difference, Padres got an insurance run to make it 3-1. And those 4 guys, instead of 14 outs, they only got 13. Come on, only 13 outs for that crew tonight. They were outstanding once again. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Again, the final score, Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Final score, the Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1. We'll hear from Mike Shildt in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. A lot to discuss, I'm sure, for Mike Shildt today. Again, the game itself, plenty interesting. Padres win it 3-1, and the big four out of the bullpen, Morejon, Estrada, Adam Suarez, they were great. 13 outs, didn't give up a run. The offense didn't do a whole lot, but they did enough today to find a way to win. Bryce Johnson really had a nice game. He had a single, put the ball in play. That led to the first run scoring, the error in center field by Scott to make it 1-0. Then he had a safety squeeze bunt to make it a 2-1 game in the fourth inning. He had the leadoff double in the ninth inning. That's helped contribute to the Padres picking up an insurance run to make it 3-1. So Bryce Johnson, a big role in this game. Obviously, a big storyline from this game. Some of the extracurricular stuff. We had Wilson, just to recap it, we had Wilson Contreras hit by a pitch. Then we had, later in the game, Manny Machado hit by a pitch that I thought was, I'll just be honest, I thought it was clearly retaliation. And I thought Manny kind of felt that way too and kind of understood what was going on. That was Liberator hitting Manny in the fifth inning. From that point on, we had warnings, and then we had Manny hit by a pitch in the top of the ninth inning. He didn't like that. That's when the bench is emptied. That's when John Jay, Cardinals coach and former Padre outfielder, came by and then kind of, stoked the flames of the emotions again when it looked like it was pretty much settled. And then in the bottom of the ninth inning, Contreras got hit by an 0-2 pitch. Robert Suarez, in a safe situation in a 2-run game, is not trying to hit Contreras. And I thought the umpires did the right thing. I didn't think anybody should get thrown out because other than the Liberator one, I didn't think any of it was intentional. But it was part of this game. The benches did clear, and Manny was clearly really unhappy, as he should have been. Even though I don't think Granillo, the young reliever on the mound for St. Louis, is trying to hit him there, but he was unhappy because he had already got hit. Warnings were issued, and I get it. If Manny's saying, "Hey, you issued warnings, you got to throw the guy out," and he's just upset getting hit again, I totally get it. So, anyway, that's the backdrop as we send things to St. Louis. Here from the Padre manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
I guess quite a formula you've got. Randy Vasquez, four guys back in. It's worked really, really well for you.
It has worked well. It's worked out where we've had those guys available with Randy. Tonight was a team win. Randy's got one hit going and a couple walks. The long walk that no one ended up coming around to score, and just got to that part where with 2 outs in the fifth, it's like, okay, give him another hitter, see if we can get his win. But no, we got Morejon in there interested, and we got 1+ out of him, and it was just his spot. So, very unselfish of Vasquez. Gets it, clearly competing, but we're about team wins at this point. And, Strada comes in and gets Scott, goes out. Strada picks him up, finishes out, grabs the seventh, and, Jason picked the whole play ball, and Suarez brought it home.
Kind of a classic win for you guys. A lot of things were executed really well. I wonder if you could.
Yeah, we played good, solid, fundamental baseball. Jackson made a great play in the third defensively. Played clean, and missed the double play, but the offensive machine execution was really good. We took a lot of good at bats and manufactured some runs. Malty did a great job with the safety squeeze and did a nice job with the hit and run, and Bryce did a nice job on the contact play. And we just did a lot of things. The runner starts full count with 2 outs, and the effort's good by Crony and base hit by Bryce, and Lee did a nice job sitting him home, and just were able to execute and play the game the right way. And that's how low scoring games are won, or close games are won.
What's your take on be array of hit by pitches tonight, kind of the way that was all handled?
Just really unfortunate. How it's handled, it's handled. I mean, it's a tough spot, man. There's no intent taking place. I mean, we got a guy in Contreras that, like a lot of guys that especially dive and just we're trying to go in. The last thing I want to do is hit this guy. We just don't like to give away anything free, especially in a close ball game. I understand his and their frustration. I don't think other than the, Crody got hit, we didn't take exception with it. Part of the game, that was pretty clear that, first pitch after that happened, that Manny got hit. That was, that's not intentional. And I get it. I understand. I'm not casting any stones. I mean, I understand completely. They're taking care of their guy. And then after that, Manny and Contreras get hit again. And I can confidently say from our side it wasn't intentional, and I feel pretty convicted from their side it wasn't intentional as well. But it's hot. It's that time of year. Guys ain't digging it, and but I know both sides just like to play clean baseball. The thing is, you go out there and some people chirp, and there's some things taking place. There's a lot of good dudes with cooler heads that have a lot of respect for each other. So, but both sides just trying to take care of each other, and it's really quite frankly, a little bit unnecessary, but understandable.
Sounds like you think that, at least from your side, like this is over.
I know it's over. I mean, listen, I mean, we just like to play baseball. I know that group over there, they're the same way. But no side's going to want to sit there and take it all day. But yeah, I thought it was over going into the day too. I didn't think twice about it, quite frankly, and I don't think anybody did. At least on our side, but. We'll show up tomorrow, play good, clean baseball, and we'll go from there.
Around the game, have you noticed the past few years just a general uptick in unintentional hit by pitches?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know, this is the platform for it. Maybe it is. It's somebody's got to stand up for our hitters. I did it. We've done it. We talked about it. We haven't historically, hit a lot of guys. We do want to throw in. We are very concerned about the guys throwing in that can't command the baseball. But, again, it's unfortunate to see the hitters that around this league with the stuff they're facing have to deal with that. Again, throwing in, even the hitters understand that's part of the game. We get it, but we also face guys like think we do it. Again, some balls have gotten away from us, but our general body of work speaks to it. But yeah, somebody's got to stand up for our hitters in this game. It's just too many guys getting hit, too much rest, too many guys getting hit up and high. That's people's livelihoods, man. And, it's something that I know the league doesn't want and is trying to figure out. But the fact of the matter, Dennis, that, the reality is guys are gripping it. And, when you get to max effort and you're trying to do everything you can and you fly open just a little bit, that ball's going to get away. It's going to somebody. It's going on the same side around the upper body area to the head area, and it's really scary. And what the solution is, I'm a solution-based guy. That's something that can be worked out at some point somewhere. I don't know, but we got to start taking care of our hitters, man, because that's scary stuff. These guys are throwing harder than ever now. So, it's really, again, I don't want to get on a soapbox or grab this diatribe or. But I do have a player development background, and thankfully I haven't been in player development because I enjoy the big leagues. All right. But, I do keep up with it clearly. And, even before player development, I mean, it's just taking place in amateur baseball now. It's all about velocity. It's all about spin rate. It's all about get it and rip it. And it's coming at the expense of being able to actually the art of pitching. And it's ultimately coming at the expense of some of our hitters. And, some of our better hitters, understandably, we get it. We've played some teams recently that still throw in, but do it the right way. They're missing 6-8 inches in. It's more middle of the body to the lower body, moving feet. Got no problem with that. Understand it. But it's not a teach that's taking place anymore in our game, and there's no real accountability to it. But at some point there has to be some accountability to it for the sake of our hitters. I'll get postcards and Christmas cards from the hitters for this. So probably not so much on the other side.
That was Mike Shildt, with a lot of thoughts there about the evolution of throwing inside and guys getting hit. And look, I agree with Mike there in the sense I don't see this carrying over. It feels done to me, to be quite frank with you, from my perspective. It feels like the whole thing's kind of got overblown to begin with. If Contreras never reacts like that yesterday, and then there was nothing between these two teams coming in. But look, guys get hit. They don't like getting hit. You get it. Like Mike said, I did. I mean, look, I'm not saying for sure. I have no inside info. I thought the time Liberatore hit Manny right after what happened in the bottom half of the fourth inning with Contreras getting hit, I don't know. First pitch he threw was at Manny's backside. I don't know. That one was the only one that I thought looked pretty intentional. I thought Manny kind of understood what was going on there too. And look, from the Cardinal perspective, you understood it because their guy got hit a couple of times. So, and I know Mike Shildt probably sees that too. And Manny sees that. So, look, we'll see if this carries over into tomorrow. We'll see if it carries over into the series next weekend in San Diego. We'll see. But most importantly, Padres got a 3-1 win. I will tell you, I think we're going to hear from Manny Machado coming up here in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. We'll come back. We'll talk more about this game, maybe get to your phone calls as well at 833-288-0973. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Much, much more to do on our post-game coverage. Padres win it 3-1 today in St. Louis. We should hear from Manny Machado at some point here soon, I believe. Stay tuned. We're back after this on the Padres Radio Network. Baseball. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, the Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1 as the Padres win the third game of this four-game series in St. Louis. They snap a four-game losing skid. The bullpen terrific once again after Randy Vasquez went 4 2/3. Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez combining for 4 innings and a third scoreless. They shut the door on a 3-1 win in St. Louis. We'll go back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis Lewis here from Manny Machado in just a moment. Obviously, Manny involved in some of the extracurriculars today with the benches clearing, and he wasn't happy. He was hit by a pitch a couple of times. So we'll hear from Manny in just a moment. Stay tuned for that. First, let's hear today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Scott the second leads off, goes after the first pitch, hits it in the air to deep center. Merrill on the run, gets there to make a jumping catch on the warning track. Out number one on one pitch here in the bottom of the third inning.
Great play by Jackson Merrill that came in the third, took a potential extra base hit away in the third with Randy Vasquez on the mound. That was today's catch of the game. I do want to say Brendan Donovan made a couple of great leaping plays at second base in this one as well, but the Padres getting some good defense from Jackson. They go on to win it 3-1. All right, obviously Padres get the win. We've talked about some of the other drama, Manny getting hit twice tonight, Wilson Contreras getting hit twice tonight. You heard Mike Shildt. He didn't think there was any intention with, really from either side with any of these. Look, I don't totally agree about the first Manny one in the fifth inning. To me, that was right after Contreras got hit for a second time in this series, and Liberatore first pitch is towards his backside. I don't know. That one kind of felt intentional to me, but the one that really got Manny upset was the second hit by pitch in the ninth inning. That's with Andre Granillo on the mound. And look, I don't think Granillo was trying to hit him there. He already had given up a run. It's a 2-run game. He's got a runner on base, but Manny, rightfully so, wasn't happy to get hit again. And then, he's unhappy. He was kind of yelling at Granillo. He was also upset at the home plate umpire, for not throwing anybody out, and just emotions running high. The bench is empty. Then current Cardinal coach, former Padre outfielder John Jay comes out. He says something to Manny that reignited the whole thing. I don't know why John Jay's coming out there and reigniting the whole thing as a coach. Manny gets upset at that, and things get reignited. Nobody pushed, nobody shoved, no punches, just some barking back and forth. It wasn't all that dramatic, but Manny was clearly unhappy. So let's go back to St. Louis inside the Padres clubhouse at Busch Stadium and hear from Manny Machado.
Start with the win. Like, how big was this for you guys? How much have you guys kind of fallen into loving that Vasquez back four formula? You guys?
Yeah, man, he's been throwing the ball really well. He's been a big key to our staff. Keeping us in games. Really solidifying that back end of the rotation for us. So. To go out there and get that dub today was huge.
I think, and I might be wrong with this, first thing you hit twice in the game. What do you make of kind of both of those kind of late night unfolded?
Well, the first one, obviously, kind of knew it was all coming, especially with what happened yesterday. And then, that inning right before, they had a guy warming up in right field already trying to come in, and then the starter comes back out. You kind of already know what's going to happen. So, you just take it, go to first, move on, we're all good. And then, obviously warnings get issued, and then, obviously you get another one up and in. So just, it is what it is.
Was there frustration that warnings had been issued?
I don't really care. That's up to the umpires. They handle situations however they want to handle it. But yeah, as a player, yeah, for sure you're frustrated.
I think you and John Jay are pretty good friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I know the real him.
So you clearly weren't happy, but what was?
Yeah. No, I wasn't happy with the whole situation at all. So, yeah.
He got ejected. So what?
Yeah, don't come out there and start yapping your mouth.
So we were mistaken. You're not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What was the biggest frustration for you with, you said you were upset with the situation. What was the frustration? That you had been hit? Or was it that?
You want to go here? Look. You want my BGs too? You want my BGs? You want to go there and hit? You let me know how that feels?
Can't feel good.
Yeah, so yeah. That answers your question there. It's just, here's what it is, poor kid, he comes up, I know he probably doesn't want to do that in that situation. Obviously, you see him, what he does, he kind of feels bad. I mean, you're just pissed off, It is what it is, there's nothing to it. But then you got somebody else coming up and you have it mouth. That's when it starts getting real.
Usually not see coaches get involved like that. What did he say to you?
That's between me and him. I ain't going to try to make you guys write a story. That's between me and him, so we'll figure it out.
All right. That was Manny Machado after all the drama in St. Louis tonight. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. Okay. I don't think Manny was a big fan of what John Jay did at all. And those guys know each other. John Jay is a Miami guy, went to high school in Miami. Obviously, Manny grew up in Miami as well. So those guys have known each other for a long time. Manny is not happy with what happened with John Jay in that situation. Look, I get it. I thought Manny was spot on there on a couple of different fronts. You heard me say I thought the Liberator hit by pitch was intentional. Manny thought the same, and Manny understood it. Manny knew it was coming. Okay, so he did exactly what he should have done. He took it, he went down to first base. But that Liberator one, to me, and Manny thinks the same thing. Yeah, that he was throwing at him. To me, that was clear as day, and that was for what happened yesterday with Contreras and what happened today. Manny not happy with getting hit the second time, and he knows he's not trying to hit him, but he's not happy about it. And you heard him the back and forth there with the reporters. Why isn't he happy? You want to get hit by a fastball? No. And clearly was not happy with John Jay getting out there and starting to say stuff. After, by the way, it was really calmed down. It was John Jay who reignited the whole thing by coming out there. And those two guys know each other a long time. So, I didn't see Manny saying that if there was a smile on his face at all, but it didn't sound like he was particularly happy about John Jay coming out there and starting to talk. So, we'll see if this carries over into tomorrow, into the series next week at Petco Park. But certainly extracurriculars over the course of the last couple of days, and that was Manny Machado inside the clubhouse earlier this evening. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game, we could go a lot of different ways with this because Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez were all terrific in this game. Morejon, a scoreless inning. Estrada inning and a third scoreless. Adam scoreless inning. Suarez scoreless inning. I will give it to Jeremiah Estrada for this reason. Estrada comes in, sixth inning, strikes out Wilson Contreras to get out of that inning with the Padres only up by one at the time, and then gets in a little bit of trouble in the seventh inning, allows the base runner and strikes out the pinch hitter Pozo to get out of the inning. So all in all, Estrada, 4 outs. He had to face Contreras with a runner on base. He had to face Arenado, face Wynn, face Walker, who had a hit earlier. 20 pitches, did a really nice job. And out of the 4 he's the only one to get 4 outs. So for that reason, Estrada, our relief pitcher of the game. But it's one of those nights, much like Monday in Miami, where you kind of look at it and everybody did their job. I mean, 13 outs, no runs given up. And it was nearly identical to what they did in Miami on Monday, the last time the Padres won a game. And I'll continue to say it. Look, are the Padres a perfect team? No. Are there things that need to be figured out? Did the offense knock your socks off here tonight? No. But they have a distinct advantage in a close game when they can roll out those 4 and shorten a game. A distinct advantage, and it was on a full display once again here today. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll squeeze in a phone call or two. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard, play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for the series and road trip finale tomorrow. Padres win it 3-1 against the St. Louis Cardinals on this Saturday. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Welcome back to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Padres win it by a final score of 3-1 today in St. Louis. They snap a 4-game losing skid. Padres now 56-49 on the year. Cardinals drop to 54-52. The final game of this road trip and this series tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more to come. Let's squeeze in a couple of phone calls here on this Saturday. Let you chime in about today's game, about some of the drama we saw, the benches clearing, Manny, John Jay. Entertaining, to say the least. Let's go to Hugh calling in. Hi, Hugh. You're on the Padres Radio Network on this Saturday evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Hugh from Maui here. I've been following the Padres since 1955. I'm an old fart. Okay, here's the thing. Bryce Johnson was just terrific. I know the Padres are looking for a left fielder. Wouldn't it be cool if they had one in the dugout all this time? He's played 15 games. He's batting over 300. He went 2 for 3 today. He was involved in all 3 runs that were scored. And he's good in defense. He's got great wheels. He was a switch hitter. It would be really nice if we had a homegrown, had a guy already there to fill that gap in left field. Also, John Jay, I remember him from back in the day. He was a real feisty guy, and he was a great pinch hitter when he played for the Padres. So, I'm sorry to see Manny got plunked twice. There's no place for it. But anyway, I love the coverage. You guys are doing a terrific job. And all I can say is go Padres.
All right, Hugh, appreciate the phone call. Look, your point on Bryce Johnson today, he was really impactful. No way around it. Really impactful. Had the base hit that led to the run scoring in Cronenworth, the error by Scott, but he that doesn't happen if he doesn't hit it into center, collect a base hit, make the defense force him to make a play there. So he had that. He had the safety squeeze bunt to make it 2-1. We'll talk more about that in a second. He had the double in the 9th inning to start that rally, score the insurance run. So you're exactly right. Bryce Johnson, to his credit, had a big impact on this game. He really, really did. And really nice to see the Padres get a contribution like that today. Let's go to Hunter calling in. Hi, Hunter. You're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Hi, Sammy. That was a pretty good game.
It was, Hunter.
Johnson got that great game. 2 for 3. He got the ground rule double, RBI single. It was pretty good. And something that was really funny is that Manny got hit twice, and so did Contreras, and a bench is clear twice.
Yeah.
Is pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, it's entertaining, Hunter. Hey, Hunter, I got to ask you, how old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
All right. I like it. Eight years old and listening to baseball on the radio, huh? Big fan?
Yeah, I love the Padres. All
right. That is awesome. Well, Hunter, I very much appreciate you tuning in and calling in. Thank you for listening. Hunter, good call. Good job chiming in about the game. Feel free to call anytime, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hunter, how about that? 8 years old, listening to our post-game coverage. Great job there by Hunter. 8 years old, calling in, big Padres fan. Great stuff. Hunter, you can call in anytime you want, and we're happy to talk baseball with you. Padres win it 3-1 in St. Louis. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of finals already today. We had a doubleheader today in Kansas City. Royals won it Game 1 in the bottom half of the 10th inning, 5-3. Jonathan India hit a 3-run walk-off home run as the Royals beat the Guardians 5-3 in Game 1. Game 2 of that doubleheader, Guardians returning the favor, beating the Royals 6-4. Other finals today, Red Sox beat the Dodgers 4-2 at Fenway Park. It was the Nationals beating the Twins 9-3 in Minnesota. A's beat the Astros 5-1 in Houston. Marlins beat the Brewers for a second straight day in Milwaukee 7-4. Cubs beat the White Sox 6-1 in Chicago. Rangers beat the Braves 6-5 in Arlington. In 10, Marcus Semien, the walk-off hit in that one for Texas. Orioles beat up on the Rockies 18-0 in Baltimore today. Reds beat the Rays 6-2 in Cincinnati. Pirates beat the D-backs 2-0 in Pittsburgh. Blue Jays beat the Tigers 6-1 in Detroit. Phillies beat the Yankees earlier this afternoon 9-4. Mariners beating the Angels right now in the 5th inning 2-1. Mets ahead of the Giants 2-1 in the 7th inning in San Francisco. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday. Well, you heard the caller mention Bryce Johnson, and it's an absolutely correct call. Johnson was really impactful in this game. He came up a 1-1 game, top of the 4th inning after Jake Cronenworth started the inning with a double, went to third base on a ground out. Johnson came to the plate, and Bryce Johnson provided today's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
On the way in, Johnson bunts towards first. Contreras charges, bare hand, throw to first, or throw home. The tag not in time. Cronenworth slides in feet first ahead of the tag from the catcher Pages. Pretty good effort by Contreras, but too much speed. Johnson is aboard, and the Padres back in front. It's 2-1.
Yeah, great job by Bryce Johnson. Just a really nicely executed safety squeeze bunt. Is there anything better than a safety squeeze bunt? Well executed, beautifully done by Mr. Bryce Johnson. Nice job, Bryce. Our play of the game gave the Padres a 2-1 lead. They had that 2-1 lead until the 9th inning, got an insurance run, made it 3-1. So for a long time today, it was the game-deciding run. Really still was the game-deciding run by the time it was all said and done. Bryce Johnson providing our play of the game with the safety squeeze bunt. Back in the 4th inning, and again, the headline from this one, Padres at a 2-1 lead, so similar to Monday in Miami. A 2-1 lead. Randy Vasquez is working in the 5th inning. Mike Shildt gets aggressive, takes him out in the 5th, goes to Morajón just like he did on Monday. And then Morajón, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez combined for 4 1/3 scoreless innings, shut the door, and that was it. On Monday, again in Miami, they got 14 outs and secured a 2-1 win, kept it 2-1 the whole time. And here today, guess what? Kept it 2-1. Padres got an insurance run today to make it 3-1, but they got 13 outs today and were just splendid as the Padres win it 3-1. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, it'll be the series finale, the road trip finale, final game of this 10-game trip in St. Louis tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow earlier than the last handful of days. We'll have an 11:15 a.m. Pacific time first pitch in St. Louis tomorrow. Our pregame coverage begins at 10:15. Right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Right-hander Michael McGreevy on the mound for St. Louis. Again, first pitch at 11:15, and our pregame coverage from our San Diego studios begins at 10:15 a.m. As always, if you missed any portion of our postgame coverage today, including Mike Shilt's postgame comments, including Manny Machado's postgame comments, you can go back and listen to that or any portion of our postgame coverage on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast feed, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our postgame coverage there as well. Taking a look at the final totals here today for the Padres: 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 10. For the Cardinals, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error. They left on 5. Winning pitcher Jeremiah Estrada, who improves to 4-4. Losing pitcher Matthew Liberatore, who drops to 6-8. And Robert Suarez picks up his 30th save of the season. His 30 saves leads the major leagues. Time of game here today: 2 hours and 51 minutes in the crowd at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, 25,699. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 11:15 a.m. Our pregame coverage starts 1 hour prior at 10:15. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Bobby Sharton, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 3 and the St. Louis Cardinals 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.